By the end of this video, I'll expect you to understand the first steps of building a data model from scratch. I'll begin reconstructing the photo gallery model in a conversation with users. But where do we find users? Finding realistic users and arranging meetings is not the subject of this course, but I'll touch on it briefly. There is no easy answer. I work in healthcare where, for privacy purposes, I'm not even allowed to meet my real users, let alone talk to them about their private healthcare issues. That's beyond what I need to know. But there are ways to find realistic users, maybe potential future users. You can reach out to your social networks, you can send out surveys. If you're lucky enough to actually know real users, contact them directly. This is not easy stuff. Business analysts, sales and marketing experts, these people can help you. Let's start at the beginning. We need a nice blank sheet of paper or a whiteboard or a computer screen. This notation is designed to be easy to draw by hand, but it is easier in the long run to use software, especially to make changes. So load that up if you're comfortable working that way. Step 1 is listen to the users. For gosh sake, listen. As modelers, this isn't our time to brag about what we're building. We are gathering requirements. What are we listening for? We want to understand their domain, which means the world that the users live in and all of its problems and complexities. Building great software requires a deep understanding. To achieve this, we need to make sure the users are doing most of the talking. As we go, we want to listen for keywords, phrases, and other language that sound like concrete objects that the users deal with inside that domain. For example, a car repair shop deals with keywords like vehicle, customer, appointment, replacement part, work shift, and so on. As we go, also pay attention to the non-verbals. This is one of those areas where women tend to be more talented than men, which is just one of many reasons why it's unfortunate that we have limited diversity in computer science. Listening well is crucial for all data modelers. Hopefully, if we're building software for someone, we're looking to fulfill a real need that these users care about. Much of their needs show up in their emotions and their feelings. Maybe they have an existing solution that frustrates them. By listening, we can learn a lot about how to build a better product that will delight our users. For this video, I will focus mostly on the words that we're looking for. Now let's role play our meeting with the users. Some users will just start talking, and if they don't, you can prompt them by asking them, tell me about whatever the subject of the meeting is. Hopefully there's at least a meeting topic on your calendar that you know already. Let's suppose it's the photo gallery application. So tell me about photo galleries. Again, some users will talk your ear off, and others might take a lot of questioning and guidance to get their ideas out. If it helps get them on the right track, you can be more specific with what kinds of things do we want the system to remember. This should cue them to give us some keywords and phrases to work with. Here's an example of a user giving a fairly long answer. We will break this down. Obviously, I want to store my photos. I have about 10,000 photos at this point that I've amassed over the years from at least 6 different cameras. I've lost count. Sometimes I carry multiple cameras with me to the same event so that I can switch between different styles of shooting. Needless to say, keeping everything organized is a challenge. I've used lots of different software before for culling and post-processing, and I don't know what I'd do without high-end software at this point. Sometimes I find out my white balance or exposure was way off, and I need all the help I can get to make my work present well. So the software is essential, but it definitely still can be tedious editing my collections, and sometimes I can work late hours trying to get a gallery posted for my clients. Whoa. Okay, that was a lot. And we're going to turn that into a data model? Okay, let me break this down. Let's look for keywords. As you master this, you'll learn to listen for these on the fly. At first, we can look for words that just seem interesting because they hint at what kinds of data we might store. Now, this is still way too many keywords. How do we know which ones are most important to focus on first? We want to stay grounded. That means we discuss the most concrete concepts first. Nouns, like photo, are more concrete than verbs like edit, which are more grounded than modifiers like organized. Within nouns, we can prioritize further. Words that describe physical things with mass, like victim, are more grounded than words for events that occur, like crime. Discrete things like milk carton are more grounded than things with changing boundaries, like milk. Connectable things like airport are more grounded than the connections between those things, like flight. So as modelers, we're actively looking first for the items in black. It's okay if the conversation leads us naturally toward other items in gray, including verbs and modifiers. But we don't want to go there unless the users take us there. Here among those interesting key phrases, I've circled the nouns. Now, which of those are the most grounded? I suggest cameras. It has something with mass, and it's something we can hold in our hands. So that's our starting point. The next steps might be discrete things like photos, collections, and gallery. The rest seem like either events that happen or things with changing boundaries, which go last. So we make an entity called camera, singular, not plural. Now we want to know more about camera before moving on to photo, gallery, and other topics. This is step 2, seek descriptors, which I will cover in the next video. Before moving on, I mentioned nonverbals. I've marked some words that might be attached to emotions and feelings. These are things the user really cares about in their heart. They easily make or break their decision on which software to use. They give us hints on what we can do to really delight them with a better user experience. This goes beyond the technical aspects of data modeling, but keep it in mind because you'll be a rockstar data model if you can read between these lines. Here are some exercises to check your understanding.